meteorologist who will be able to answer those questions if you've got them. Once again, we'll invite you to put them into the comments either on Facebook or on YouTube. And if you're watching on any of our social platforms, you'll need to go to Facebook and YouTube in order to post those questions up. Let's go ahead and bring our camera in. Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm going to use camera one, and I'm going to just bring this out because we're kind of spread out, but we're spread out here for a reason. I'm going to just kind of save that right there. Hi, I'm Billy V.
And I'm meteorologist Jennifer Robbins. Billy, you're a pro. This is amazing.
Thank you. It's always fun when you get to do the live stream, and I thrive in this environment. So here we go. What we want to do is we want to get onto the air, and we want to give you the information that you need. Here we are on an Aloha Saturday, and it's been a busy Saturday at that.
You know, we called First Alert Weather Days since last Friday. We knew that this event would come. It took its time to evolve, as we know. The first waves of energy, people were like, what are you talking about? What kind of storm are you talking about is coming our way? But it was sporadic, and it initially dumped maybe about 7 inches of rain, especially on Kauai. But then within the last 36 hours, the atmosphere really destabilized, and we started seeing just widespread plume of that deep tropical moisture impacting us hours on end.
Just for everybody's benefit, how long have you been covering weather?
I've been covering weather for quite some time. I guess it's going to be going on. Now you're going to age me. Oh, my goodness.
Sorry.
I started off, I went to San Francisco State and studied meteorology there. But basically, since 2008, 2009, I'd say my first gig was in Boise, Idaho.
Wow.
And then I went to KBC TV, and I was alongside Dallas Raines. I was his weather producer. So I made Dallas look good. I could say all the graphics, and then landed here in Hawaii, and Hawaii's been home since. And I've been here going on 14 years in August.
If you were listening to us, we didn't have our cameras on, but we were talking as we were waiting for everybody to join into this live stream. You said this is one of the most unique storms that you've covered.
For the entire state, there's been events that we've covered that impacted maybe one island substantially, especially for Hawaii Island to see this caliber of rain. And they've handled big rain events in the past very well. But this one has hit populated areas. And I don't recall for a statewide event, you know, of a storm of this caliber that it's moving along and each state has its own issues.
Okay, and what I want to do is I kind of want to hand over the reins to you and let you go ahead and talk about what we are dealing with, and kind of walk us through this morning's forecast, and then we'll talk about what we can expect as we go forward here on Saturday.
You know, it's been very interesting tracking this Kona low, and you can see it's parked to the north of us. It's been anchored there for quite some time, and I was telling Billy how this took some time to destabilize. You can see how far the center of it is, well north of us, and how it's pulling up that deep tropical moisture. It was a monster of a storm, and what makes this really interesting, it's cut off from the jet stream, and because of that, it can meander in our neighborhood day after day after day, and that's what we've been seeing. It's setting up shop to the north of us. Usually a typical setup for the islands would be a large area of high pressure parked to the north of us, and we get the trade wind flow. But with this one, it's spinning up the Kona winds, and along with it, we are seeing deep tropical moisture. That plume of moisture initially was over the western islands, so Kauai got a bit of rain. Also, we did see our fair bit of rain. It was actually Dole Plantation that got probably one of the most amounts of rain. We're talking about nearly a foot there. And then even over some of those windward neighborhoods, but even the Waianae range got a whole lot too. Now the focus is shifting towards the eastern islands, and that's where we have a number of alerts up. We actually have a flood advisories and warnings up. For Maui, we've been seeing on and off showers, especially along south-facing shores. And you can see, Billy, this is incredible to see the rainfall rates. Along the south slopes, we've been seeing seeing up to 6 inches to 7 inches per hour. So even though that's on the mountains, you could think of all that runoff. So Kihei, all that runoff is kind of goes towards you when it's in the mountains there. And we're seeing a lot of problems in Kihei right now. So just wanted to send lots of aloha to our friends and family there. As we ride out this storm together, I hope everyone is being safe. And you could actually see we're seeing quite a bit of a range, about a half an inch to maybe about an inch for the most part. And we're seeing waves of energy now get caught up over on Hawaii Island. And that's where we're focused on into the rest of the weekend. The intensity is varying anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches, maybe 3 inches per hour. But I was working the evening newscast last night. Since 10 o'clock during the newscast last night, a flash flood warning has been up through Ka'u. And we continue to see that extended again, and it's still up in that area. So the southeast shores are seeing a lot of rain through Volcano. And you know what was really interesting, Billy? We were talking about the eruption that just happened, and they were cleaning up all of that from the eruption. And now they have to clean up all the rain on top of that too. So it's been quite a week for Volcano. And earlier on Hawaii Island, we did have waves of earthquakes too. So it's just been very active there overall. And we're still not out of the woods when it comes to this deep tropical moisture that's parked over the eastern end of the state.
I want to ask those of you that are watching on Facebook right now, because as familiar as I am with the volcano area, because I grew up on Hawaii Island, I've never dealt with tephra before. So I'm wondering what water does to the tephra. Does it act like sugar and just dissolve, because it's very lightweight? I don't know. So if anybody has any idea, give us some comments. We would love to ask about that. So continue on about Hawaii Island.
I know they were cleaning up all the ash, all the tephra, and now they're facing all the rain. And that's an interesting point that you're bringing up, is what is the mechanisms of water due to those elements? Because it is quite a bit of a science when you put it in a different atmosphere, as you know, or an environment. So that is a really good question to ask. What we are going to be seeing for the rest of the day, this is going to be the focus over the eastern island. So very heavy rainfall rates. It's more sporadic, but we are going to be seeing that continue to pick up. As I zoom out, you could see that plume of deep tropical moisture we've been tracking. It's like an atmospheric river that's directed over the islands right now. We've heard that term before, especially for the West Coast when they get big rain events. And a lot of that deep tropical moisture is derived from south of the Hawaiian Islands. But this is kind of a mini version of it that we're seeing here. But then what's picking it up is that Kona low, the mechanisms of it. As far as what we're expecting, we're still seeing waves of energy move through, still seeing wet conditions. We already received about a foot of rain over the western islands, still counting though. And you could actually see we're not out of the woods, even though that deep tropical moisture, the hardcore part of it, has shifted east. We're now seeing kind of trailing moisture behind it that's impacting the Waianae range at this hour. And we're still seeing really heavy rain offshore that could at times, we're calling it pop-up storms, impact all the way to Kauai. But it's been quite the last 48 hours as we take a look at how big the system is and just how massive it is, taking over a lot of space. And you could actually see the rain is coming in waves, the heaviest now shifting east. It's pulling up a river of deep tropical moisture now over the far eastern end of the state. The impacts continue to be flooding, heavy rain, damaging south winds, and stormy seas, and snow on the summits. And take a look at some of the rainfall totals. I haven't really known the rainfall totals over the course of the last week. This is only since Friday we're talking about. So since yesterday, Mount Waialeale, nearly 11 inches of rain. Lihue, you can see nearly 7 inches of rain. And Dole Plantation, I was telling you, all that rain was collected there. We had the big scare yesterday, of course, with the Wahiawa Dam. I know that you're covering that. There was a whole lot of water, but it's amazing once the water and the downpour stop, how it normalizes at the dam, right?
Yeah, and so, it's fortunate that it didn't get over flood stage and that it started to trend down last night compared to what they were expecting because of the amount of moisture that they saw that was coming. So
it
that's
was
welcome
a
news.
huge scare. I mean, during the 9 o'clock news last night, when we were getting these reports, I mean, my heart stopped. Like, what could this kind of event be? And so I was actually helping Keahi and Stephanie make maps to figure out what the evacuation zones would be, figure out where it would impact, all the way to even Haleiwa. It's just amazing how much ground that would have covered.
And see, that's the one thing that you have to remember is that, when you have weather events like this, it's not necessarily what happens where you are. It's also recognizing that, if you're Makai, you have to pay attention to what's happening up Mauka, because that rainfall, it could be heavy up there, and that all washes downward.
And that's what we're seeing right now over in Kihei, is just, it's all over the mountains, these heavy downpours, but the runoff could just go down and gravity takes it, and there it is, just all in a puddle.
I want to get to talk about Maui in a couple of moments. As a matter of fact, I do want to let you know I'm going to call John Cruz in a moment. He messaged me, and he's had some interesting experience with this current storm over in upcountry Maui. So we'll get to John coming up in just a little bit. Talk about for a couple of moments, with all the focus being on Maui and Hawaii Island, you said we're still not out of the woods yet. That's because on Kauai and Oahu, we're still saturated, right?
Yes. If we could take a closer look at some of those weather graphics, it's not just a rain event, Billy. It's been a wind event too. But these are the totals over the Western Islands. You can see even over some of the places that are usually bone dry. We're talking about Waianae Valley, nearly 7 inches of rain. As far as what we're seeing now, focused over the Eastern Islands, we're still accumulating that rain. But this is what we got within the last readings. And this is all preliminary. And these aren't rainfall totals all together. But this is since Friday we're talking about. But you see the south slopes of Maui up to 18 inches of rain, and that's been a problem area. The winds are still very, very gusty, but for this storm to create winds, the mountains play a big role in it too. We have gusty conal winds, so that's coming in from the south. Usually when we have really strong trade winds, the most damaging winds are over leeward neighborhoods. This is reversed. We're seeing it over windward neighborhoods, over those slopes that we're seeing the most gusty sporadic winds, and it's been coming into waves. I was taking my kids over to Auntie's house yesterday, having to drive through the windward side. So much debris on the roadways. The rain was coming in sideways. It was a very dangerous situation while you're driving. So my advice for anyone, we have school out. We're all braving this together. It's just to stay and, hunker down at home and maybe have quality time at home, because, it's pretty messy out there. And big kudos to the crews and first responders. They've been doing an amazing job. I was out late last night, driving home at midnight. Crews were out. I was coming back to work, about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Crews were still out. So they're working very, very hard. But let's talk about some of those wind speeds, Billy. As you can see, very gusty conditions we're talking about. From a Kona low, can you believe this? These are the maximum wind speeds. Makapu'u, we're talking about 81 miles per hour. And then you could see Kailua Kona. We actually had some roof damage there. 75 miles per hour. Many of those windward neighborhoods ranged anywhere from the 50s to 60 mile per hour range when it comes to gust. And I'm sure a lot of people were in the elements. It was a really serious situation. So we're still seeing flash flooding in spots. Right now, this is the current conditions that are up. A flood watch is up for all of the islands. It's up for all of the islands, even though we're seeing improvements in some spots like Kauai. Very saturated ground, so it doesn't take much with the waves of energy moving through today. But then you can see the flash flood warning on Molokai earlier today. That has been lifted. Now the focus is on Maui, and we're seeing that on the southeast shore of Hawaii Island. And we've been seeing that since late last night. I told you that flash flood warning keeps getting extended and extended and extended. Now we're seeing more action on the other side of the island. We're talking about Lankona. We've been seeing on and off rain. I was tracking some thunderstorms on the radar becoming very active. This is the latest weather model. It does show you that steady plume of deep tropical moisture that was sitting over the Western Islands yesterday, now shifting over towards Hawaii Island. It continues to sit there as we go into Saturday. So this is going to come in waves, Billy. We've been seeing sporadic downpours, and then it quiets down. Before you know it, it picks right back up. And it's because of the instability and the destabilization of this Kona low with our atmosphere. We have cold air aloft that's triggering heavier periods of rain. Behind it, we'll have some trailing moisture, but big improvements for Kauai, and we'll likely be seeing them out of the flood watch by the end of today, but then continuing that flood watch for Maui County and Hawaii Island into your Sunday. But you see some of the moisture that continues. This is just one weather model that shows you adding to the bucket maybe 8 inches along Kona side, and then we'll be watching that very carefully. So a lot of weather headlines. Significant flooding continues, a few thunderstorms embedded within it. Fierce south winds, I told you, 81 miles per hour, Makapu'u. And then Kona, that's usually like a side that's protected by the winds because Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea plays such a big role. When the trade winds are really blowing, they're not getting much wind on that side. But today they got gusts up to 75 miles per hour.
Did you, I know you were tracking this a little bit earlier. Did you have the numbers from Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa up on the summits?
So I was talking to Guy Hoggy, and he just texted that he checked the numbers. It was 101 mile per hour gust.
By the way, this is the things. Oh, sorry, wrong camera. This is the things that they do for fun. They dig in to wind gusts in places, and they text each other, "Wow, check this out!" So 110 mile per hour.
101, yeah. But I mean, and then there's not observations everywhere, so you have to imagine that's kind of a ballpark of how strong those winds are coming in. So easily over 100 miles per hour.
Okay. It was interesting, that last graphic that you showed just before this one, you showed that there were numbers that were higher in Kona in the way of moisture, the amount of rain possible as compared to Hilo.
Yes, and it's because of the opposite direction. Usually, Hilo is known, especially when Merry Monarch is happening. Oh, we got to prepare for rain. Trade wind showers coming our way, and you go land in Hilo. You got to bring your umbrella, and then all of that. But with the switch in the winds, it's opposite. So we're talking about Kona side getting in on the brunt of the rain, and we could potentially see that into the next couple of days. And I showed you that weather model. It shows you the aspect of what could potentially be here. It just shows you that the atmosphere is still unstable. It doesn't mean it's going to be raining solid from now until Monday. It's going to be periods coming in waves of on and off showers, and some of them are going to be heavier than others, those pop-up storms.
Okay. This is probably the big question right at the moment. When is this going to be pow?
I know. You know, I think a lot of us have kind of storm fatigue because we've been talking about this since last Friday, about how this is coming our way, and then it took its time to really develop and then destabilize the atmosphere. It took its time to really create that atmosphere to produce heavier showers.
But we've been telling people, and then we see the winds of yesterday were just, on the town sides, or the windward side. I was on the town side. Windward side, people were going, wow, we haven't seen winds like this. And I don't even remember a time where we ever had winds that was coming through like those kind of winds.
And I think the big question for a lot of people now, as we are facing the cleanup, as we are facing all of these elements, even though the rain will be stopping, is when will the power come back on? I know my neighborhood, the power has been out since yesterday, and waking up, it was kind of an eerie feeling, getting out and going out in the dark. I looked up in the sky. I could see actually the constellations. My son is named Orion. I could spot Orion up there. And I was just like, oh, that's just a sign that things are slowing down. That's nice to be able to see the stars. But then I was looking around. I'm like, oh, my goodness, we have a lot to clean up today. We have, the power is still out. So I could feel for families. I certainly can feel for families, especially as we're approaching spring break. My boys are off. A lot of keiki are off this week. So that's going to be a big question. I know that you have a number of interviews, and I know that crews have been working hard, but hopefully that will be back up and running soon.
Okay. Jennifer Robbins has been here. She came in on her day off. She's working here sunrise, so I could go out and report from outdoors. So, Jen, thank you for being here, and I won't keep you here any longer. I hope you get a chance to go enjoy with the boys and enjoy your day.
Yeah, and I just wanted to wish everyone much aloha. The one thing that I did notice driving out, that people were just so humble. Like, even though this is, debris on the roads. They were taking their turn, as some of these stoplights are out. Okay, no, you go. Like, it's almost like too much aloha. Like, okay, let's just follow the directions, like as if it's a four-way stop, and let's take our turn. But I just want to thank everyone for all of your feedback too, of just how you're doing. Just wishing you the very best in your family, and just be safe, everyone, and check on your loved ones, especially your neighbors, some kapuna that may be out there. Just check on them, especially if the power is out, because it could be kind of a scary situation, especially late at night when there's no power at all. And this kind of gives us a taste of how vulnerable our islands are, but how much aloha is even in the midst of facing just a storm of this caliber.
Okay, Jennifer Robbins, I'm going to let her go. We're going to go ahead and jump into things. We have power outages to talk about. We'll update you on those, and we'll also dive back into the weather coming up a little bit. We are taking your questions right now. I almost felt like giving a phone number. That was a radio moment. We're taking your messages, your comments right now on YouTube and Facebook, and then what I will do is I will bring the camera back over to me. What I'm going to do, actually, is, let me see here. The immediate thing is, how am I going to let Jennifer Robbins go gracefully out? There we go. We're going to show you this. While we show you this, let's tell you that there is a winter storm warning. So summits, on the summits of Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa, there has been snow. Summits above 12,000 feet have been falling, so just kind of a heads up there. As a matter of fact, if you don't have to go up there, we wouldn't suggest it at all, just because of the fact that it's just really dicey up there on the mountaintops, and that's why they post the winter storm warning, so you know that that's not the place you want to go. Here's what I want to do for the next couple of minutes. I'm going to go in, we're going to jump into some of the comments that you've been leaving, see if we can answer some of the questions, and just say hello to you. We appreciate you being here. While we do that, coming up right after that, I'm going to go through some of the power outages. We have power outages from all of the islands. Hawaiian Electric is working on it. And some places like Kailua, hi to the Keo family. Your power hasn't been on since yesterday afternoon. So fingers crossed that they can get to you and help you out with your power there. And once again, we know that all the crews, through all the dynamics of this storm, whether it be American Red Cross, emergency responders, Hawaiian Electric, everybody's working and doing their jobs and trying to get everybody through this as best as possible. I'm going to go back to the very beginning of the comments, and we'll just go ahead and talk about for a couple of moments. Lucinda Shelton says, is Hanalei Kauai okay? Hanalei's okay. They've had some conditions over the last couple of days. They really didn't have to close the Hanalei Bridge all that much, like a couple of storms that we had some 3 weeks ago. But once again, they did suffer some cleanup that they're having to do right now. And if you are on the island of Kauai, message us. How are things over in your area right now? Garrett Aoyang says, raining hard on a Saturday, and he's from Kaimuki, Hawaii. If you are leaving a comment and about the weather, tell us where you are at this time. Let me see here. Rich, thank you for the report. Thank you for being with us today. As we're going through this, aloha from Kona, it's crazy here. Ciara, thank you very much. Going through, seeing if there's any questions here. Can you talk about Kohala 2, please? Sally, thank you very much. You know what? We're going to get into the maps here in just a couple of moments, and we're going to try to get you in towards the Kohala side and kind of give you an idea of what that is like up there. It's, of course, some very cool, that's more on the cooler side of temperatures, and we'll see if we can get you into the radar up in that area in just a few moments. Let's go ahead and talk about the storm impacts also. Some of this is happening right now. Gusty southerly winds, flooding, ponding, runoff. That's what a lot of people are dealing with. Coming up tonight, more sporadic, and it's going to linger, this weather. Maui and Hawaii Island, you're kind of right there in the target. We've had it on Oahu. Kauai's had it for the last couple of days. So now that weather has moved off to your side, and you're having to deal with that. Once again, some of the rain totals there, and you're seeing that on your screen. What we're going to do is I'm going to attempt to bring up here in a couple of moments the radar. And just a reminder that you can do this on your Hawaii News Now app. You've got radar on there too, so you can go ahead and take a look and see what's happening wherever you are. That's always really, really helpful. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of this right now and see if we can bring up the current radar. Radar and satellite. There we go. This is the most recent within the last couple of minutes. You can see here as I'm going to go bearing down on this. This is 11:50, so this is like 9 minutes ago. This is currently what's happening over central Oahu right there, all the way up to the North Shore, Kahuku. Some of that reaching out towards Wahiawa. The Wahiawa rain, when we were up there, I was covering it live this morning. It wasn't as hard as it's been for the last couple of days. So a little bit of relief as we talked to some of the residents up there. They were glad that it was tapering off because obviously there was some worry. Let's go ahead and get you over towards Big Island because there was some questions about how the Kohala Coast is doing. And I think it wasn't Kohala Coast. It was actually more Kohala Hawaii. So let's get in there a little bit tight. We're seeing that there are some heavier rains that are there. You can see Mahukuna. We're going to go down towards Waipio Valley side. And as you go over towards and going down to the right-hand side of your screen where you're going down towards Honoka'a and Laupahoehoe. Boy, has Laupahoehoe been getting some rain. Look at that. Just a whole bunch of reds as you go over toward the eastern side of Hawaii Island. So Mauna Kea right now getting a lot of shower activity. Hilo's got some lighter showers, but as that rain moves, they could be getting more heavier stuff. And then as we get around towards Volcano, down over towards Ka'u, Hawaiian Ocean View Estates, Hawaii Island, really, the Kona side, there's a little bit of worry about there because usually the winds are calm. So as the trees grow and, and everything grows there, it gets used to being without the heavy winds. And when it really, really rains, like down even in Kailua Kona, this Kuakini Highway, you'll sometimes get some flooding there as you get in towards Palani Road. There's Palani Road there, Palani Junction, going in towards Kailua Kona. We'll get you a little bit closer in. I don't think this shows Kuakini Highway. Of course, this is not the traffic map. This is the weather map, but you see some of that in the center of your screen, some of the yellow. But we'll have to get into the winds because the wind speeds are really high. And when I say really high, that's 60 miles per hour. But remember that Kailua Kona always calm winds, whereas everybody else is used to the trade winds, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Let me get back to some of the comments here and go towards see if I can talk about what some people are wanting to know about as we go through this stream broadcast. Was there a slide with total rainfall measurement for Oahu locations? Just tuned in. Christine, thank you very much. Is that a comparison as the last storm a couple of weeks ago? Or are you talking about within this storm system time? Leave me a comment. Hello from Central Texas. You have a great weather broadcast. Thank you very much. Jen Robbins, ladies and gentlemen. Yay. Going down here. Kalawa is worse than a hurricane, winds above 60 miles per hour, falling down in sheets. Kalawa, that's the Kona side, the west side of Hawaii Island. Hilo, I'd like to hear from you, by the way. Not over for Maui. No kidding. We're seeing it on the radar. As a matter of fact, that, you know what? Oh, sorry. I'm getting Emergency Management Agency, Maui. Got it right. Oh, sheesh. Really? Oh, that was half an hour ago. Okay. I was talking to Jen. I was fully engaged in the conversation. I didn't look down at my phone. You know what? Let's go I'm going to go get John Cruz on the phone line. We're just going to take his phone live. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick my phone speaker right up to the microphone and we can listen to what John has to say. John texted me and gave me a picture of some flooding. I'm guessing that was happening just outside his home, he says. So let's listen. Hopefully you can hear this.
Hey,
Hey, John Cruz, Billy V here, and I've got you live on the live stream. I'm holding up the phone to the microphone. Brother,
oh
first
yeah,
of all, how are you and how are you up country?
we're doing okay. We're hunkered down. Thankfully, house is torn. Not get the brunt of it.
And you talked to me for a couple of moments. You drove up what looked like you guys were kind of boxed in up country.
Yeah, I was leaving this morning to go get some water, and this was like 50 yards from my house, the highway. Right up the highway, I couldn't get through. There was a car, as you can see in a little video. There's a car that's just about swallowed up to the top, in front of another car that's halfway swallowed, and mud, and just the highway's been blocked off a few times. Yesterday it was blocked off a few times near my house too, because trees had come down across it, but they managed to clear them. But we're taking some cracks.
I know, no doubt, brother. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for the video. We're going to send that over to the TV side and be able to pull that up and show that coming up in just a little bit. Okay.
Right on. Right on, man. Yep, just trying to stay dry up here and continue on. Luckily, we got the generator and we got enough food to take care of us for a while.
All right, John. Hang in there, brother. Much
Okay,
love
brother,
to you and the family.
Yeah, aloha.
John Cruz, everybody. Nahoku Hana Hana Award winner. He's up country, and so he was mentioning about how they are kind of hunkered down up there. The video, and I'm trying to see if I can go ahead and pull that up, and I think that I'm going to be able to here. I think so. So he sent this. This was a couple of hours ago, and let's take a look at this.
There's a car sinking.
There you go. You see that there. Car swallowed up on the right-hand side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just loop the video. It's only a short video. It's only 5 seconds long, but he zooms in there. You can see what looks like a car with the front wheels down in a big hole and the back tires that are kind of sticking up. So this is upcountry Maui right now. And if you are watching, you can always send us your videos on our website at hawaiinewsnow.com. So mahalo to John Cruz for sharing that with us. The only reason why I'm pausing right now is because I had a text message from Maui, and I'm going to see if it's possible to get them on here. While we're doing that, let me show you a couple of things. Let's go back to the radar for a couple of moments, and we'll kind of walk ourselves around. Actually, let's go ahead and pull back for a little bit. You can see, once again, all of this moisture that this Kona low system is bringing coming up towards Maui County and Hawaii Island. Now, while we're talking about Maui County and Hawaii Island a lot, I want to make sure that we are continuously saying this. That doesn't mean that Kauai and Oahu is out of the woods. It won't take much moisture because we're already saturated for things to go south, for flooding to happen. So, need to maka'ala in these instances and just be careful out there as you are. Hopefully you're staying home. Hopefully you're not doing anything. Hopefully you just get to enjoy this from indoors, because really that's the best way to do that. Okay, what we're doing right now is, let's get in a little bit closer here, and let's talk about the island of Kauai. The Kauai radar is down, so we're only seeing a partial picture of especially in the center portion of the island. But you can see there is some showers off of Anahola and Kilauea. We're seeing that there. And so we are continuing to monitor conditions as we go through this Saturday together. I'm going to go back to some comments coming up here in just a couple of moments. I'm going to go ahead and bring up, though, first There we go. Okay. Okay. Let's go from Kauai. We'll move over to the island of Oahu quickly here. And there you can see some of the shower activity. Looking like we're getting some showers. Look at the H3 freeway. Let's get in closer into this. You can see that's coming across Pearl Harbor, coming across right Halava, and the stadium, not the stadium interchange. No, that is the stadium interchange. And that's heading right up in over the H3 freeway. So we've got some heavy showers that's happening there. And they've got more to come. So just know that we've got some showers that are going to be coming up across. So some patience for everybody, and as we get through the day today. What I'm also doing here while we're doing this, looks like that there's a possibility we may talk to officials here from the island of Maui in a few moments. So while we get them situated here into the broadcast, you know what? Since we're talking about Maui, let's go to Maui so we can see how conditions are before we get to talking to our officials here. This is the county of Maui. Molokai had a soaking this morning. And so conditions are not as bad as they were this morning. Look at the south side. That's the southeast side of Maui right now. They've got some heavy showers. And so what we're going to do is we're going to see how long that sticks there. That's important to note, because if the showers hang around, that's when it is the potential for flooding. So, okay, coming up in about 5 minutes, we're going to hear from the island of Maui, and we'll get some word from the emergency agency that is there. I'm going to go back to the comments here and come back here. Hi. Once again, thanks for staying with us here on the live stream. We're going to go for probably about another 15 minutes or so. We showed you North Kohala and Hawaii. Winds picking up in Kaumana, up in Hilo. That's going to be just Mauka of Hilo town. Power outages. Thank you so much. Who is that? Is that Janet? Janet Daisy, thank you for mentioning about power outages. Let's do that before we get into Maui. Thousands are still without power right now. We're going to give you some of the latest information. Some 2,000 customers are affected. This is Enchanted Lake, Kailua, Kamiluiki, Kaneohe, Keolu, Lani Kai, Manawili, Marine Corps Base, Hawaii, Mokapu, Waimanalo, Windward Mall. There have been some people in the Kailua area that have not had power since yesterday at noon. Oh boy. I am seeing the multiple amounts of outages here, and so I'm trying to pick the best way to give you the information. There we go. 40,000 people without power in areas of Aiea Heights, Aliamanu, Eva, Foster Village, Halava, Kapolei, Makaha, Makakilo, Melemanu, Mililani Mauka, Mililani Town, Mililani Uka, Nanakuli, Pearl City, Pearl Ridge, Salt Lake, Wahiawa, Waialua, Waianae, Waikele, Waimalu, Waipahu, Waipio. That's a lot of people, 40,000. So what I'd like to recommend, you're probably watching us on your digital device because we're on YouTube and Facebook. If you're at home and the power goes out, unplug your computers, unplug your hard drives. Because when the power comes back on, which Hawaiian Electric is working on, it can surge. And that can damage your computer. That could damage the drives. So as soon as the power goes out, you want to unplug those electronic devices. And then hopefully your phone is charged. So that way it doesn't damage. Let's go to some more of the windwards. No, this is not windward side only. Okay, let me just read the areas. 24,000 people without power in these areas, and there's a lot of them. Ainahaina, Alamoana, Alava Heights, Aliamanu, Diamond Head downtown. Enchanted Lake, Foster Village, Hahaione, Hawaii Kai. Hawaiiloa Ridge, Kahala, Kahaluu, Kailua, Kaimuki, Kaka'ako. There's a lot of people in buildings in Kaka'ako. Kalama Valley. I am just making sure that Maui isn't trying to get on because I want to get to them as soon as they arrive. Liliha, Lanikai, Mokapu, New Valley, Nu'uanu, Pacific Heights, Palama, Palolo, Portlock, Punch Bowl, Salt Lake, St. Louis Heights, Tantalus, Temple Valley, Waialae, Iki, Waialae Nui, Waialae Nui Valley, Waikiki. Some of the hotels without power. Wailupe, Waimanalo, Wolamina Rise, Windward Mall, Woodlawn. 24,000 people without power in those areas. I told you about 40,000 people a little bit earlier. You can do the math. There's a big swath of stretch from Pipeline area all the way Kahukula, Ie, Hauula. That Hawaiian Electric is trying to help. And then there's West Side. Only 279 customers on the west side. So there you go. That's the island of Oahu. We got to get to Maui. So here's the details on Maui. North Shore Upcountry, 3,200. I heard a sound. I am told that we do have Mayor Richard Bisson with us, and I'm going to wait for him to turn on his camera, and he has. Mayor, how are you? I'm going to bring you into the broadcast here in just a moment. Thank you for being with us. I appreciate that very much. Hold on here while I attempt to do that at this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can bring on your audio. Mayor, can you do me a favor and count to 10 for me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. Here's the problem with the technology right now. Sometimes it works and sometimes you just got to make do. Here's what we're going to do. I am going to No, not at all, Mayor. Yeah, everything on your end is good, and that's the reason why I can see you. It's my side over here, so not to worry. I'll deal with it. And the most important thing is what we'll do is we'll get the sound here, so that way people can at least hear you. Mayor, count to 5 for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, Mayor, I can hear you. Mayor is on the screen that's right next to my head. So, Mayor, thank you very much for joining us here on the broadcast. First of all, our love and aloha to you. That's first and foremost. Give us an idea of what your residents are experiencing and what's happening right now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to know is that our roads are heavily impacted. We've had road closures in East Maui and South Maui, heavily impacted out in West Maui, out in the Lahaina area. And so we're just asking folks to please stay off the roads if you do not have to be on them, because it impacts not only our first responders, but our infrastructure crews that are out there trying to pump water from flooded areas and trying to clear debris off of roadways.
I know you've been dealing with the heavy rains. How have the winds been for your residents?
Yeah, I have not done a tour of the entire island, but we do have cameras and reports out. I believe it's the rain that's caused us the most issues because of the saturation on the ground. For example, out in the Nahiku area, which is on your way out to Hana, road trees fell over the road, power lines, utility lines came down, utility poles, power lines. And so, those are dangerous situations, but they look like they were caused by the roots kind of giving out. We're talking about heavy trees, acacia trees that were impacting our roadways last night. And then, of course, in South Maui, we also had quite a bit of runoff. And these are impacting some of the roadways, sort of giving way, as well as debris. In Lahaina, because there are so many properties that have not yet been rebuilt, water brought some of that sediment down from Mauka to Makai and taking with them, debris as well. And so that's also impacted the west side of the island. So it's all been water, it's all been rain. You know, if there's any benefit is that it comes and goes. And so hopefully we have time to catch up and pumping out the water and having it sort of, you know, go into the ground before the next round of heavy rains come through again. There's definitely wind. But I would say it's the rain and the water that's probably our biggest, what we're battling the most.
Mayor, please talk about Molokai and Lanai for a couple of moments.
Yes, please. Yeah. So Molokai, you know, they first had their schools closed on Wednesday already, and then Thursday they got quite a share of it, and they're still experiencing some of it. Lanai as well was impacted. So we do have emergency shelters at Kaunakakai gym on Molokai, as well as the Lanai High School and Elementary gym on Lanai. We have our crews out on those islands as well, taking care of our entire county. So our infrastructure teams, our public works, our water, our environmental management teams, our road crews, they're out there clearing as well. But just lots of volume. We can't recall seeing this much volume of water in this period of time. And on top of that, Weather Service, the National Weather Service tells us we're about in the middle of it. And based on what's happened on Oahu and Kauai, we have a pretty good idea of what's continuing to come our way.
Mayor, finally, what do you want residents of Maui County to know from you right now?
Yeah, primary is to take care of themselves, shelter in place, make sure they have emergency kits for their family, for the individuals. 2 to 3 days, be able to hold out for at least that long. Conserve water because these power outages can also impact you know, our water delivery systems. That, you know, we want them to take care of each other, take care of their neighbors, their kupuna, of course, their family, check in on family, make sure they're all okay. We just take care of each other and stay informed. MauiCounty.gov will give you the most up to date.
Mayor Richard Bisson on the island of Maui via Zoom. And Mayor, love to you and all of your residents, and we are pulling for you guys.
Mahalo, Billy V. You stay safe too. Go Bows.
Go Bows. Aloha. My arms are sore. Okay. Mahalo to Richard Bisson, Mayor of the County of Maui, for being with us on the broadcast here on the live stream. As he said, best to do this at home. Stay off the roads. We'll get into, then let's take a look at Maui once again. There's one thing here I want to go back to bringing that on there. This is just a minute ago. What I'm doing right now, and let me see if I can bring up so I can do some of the illustrations here. Okay, I'm not able to do that right at the moment, but I will be able to. Is see the red down by Maui on the slopes of Haleakala? Anytime you've got rain sticking around, doesn't matter what area, for any length of time, that's always dangerous. So that road, the road on that side of Haleakala, that area from that side of Haleakala, once again, that's getting some heavy rains that are just sitting there. We're monitoring it here at your first alert station. Let's go ahead and bring you back. Hi. Let's go ahead and see. I want to get back to some of the comments. Roy Buddy says, hello from San Diego. Parents live in the Hawaii area. Yvette says, Hilo, sporadic heavy rainfall and the winds are picking up. Sydney lives on Hawaii Road, just lost power again. Hilo, Panaeva, occasionally rain, wind is here and there gusty. Lunalilo, Maui, we got cracks yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Lunalilo, thank you for the kind words. Still pouring in Ainahaina, Oahu, thank you. Waimanalo, no power since dinner last night near the beaches. Walls of water came down. That's from Susan. Susan, thank you very much for the comment. Maya. Oh, Maya Kealoha. Hi, Maya. Are you home? I thought you were filming. Uncle Billy, Kalawa in Kona is catching cracks. Thank you for working. Maya, appreciate. Thank you very, very much. Pua Alapai. Mahalo Billy and Jen. Kona is all bus. I'm at Hawaiian Homes and scary. It's dumping and gusting. Kai Huokalani Hall is watching from South Carolina. Thank you very much for being with us. Nani, Puna is still wet and windy, but we have power. Nani, what part of Puna are you in? Let me know. Oh, Panaeva. Oh, no, that's somebody else's. Replying to Pumihana Wong. Hilo Panaeva is occasionally rain and windy here and there. They're having a discussion amongst themselves, too, on the channel. Raquel is from Texas. Son lives here in Honolulu. Video on Big Island Popo Alert showing the building across of the Hulihe'e Palace. The roof was blown off. Across from the Hulihe'e Palace is Mokuaikawa Church. That's businesses and buildings that are located next to it with tourist stores. Am I correct, Charmaine? Or excuse me. Oh, Gerald Farm. Hi. Say hi to your sister Eliza for me, please. Charmaine Rodriguez, Furrion Acres in Hilo. Heavy winds and rain. No electricity. Wow. I saw a vid that said it was Happiness Restaurant that the roof had blown off in Kona. That's from Yvette. We'll be flying into Honolulu, staying in Waikiki tomorrow night, and praying it lets up. Tomorrow is Sunday. Summer, it will start to get better progressively the more we get to tomorrow. Just kind of a heads up. You know what I need to do? I'm going to kind of go and kind of take a little bit of a left turn here. I need to find out if I have to work tonight. Saturday's men's volleyball matches to proceed as scheduled. Lewis match has been rescheduled for Sunday. University of Hawaii fans, whether you're watching on TV or whether you're there in person. Tonight is sold out. Go early for your parking, and just because of the weather conditions, so you're not rushing. Go early. You can go ahead and visit with everybody. The doors should already be open because there's a prior match. So actually, you could go to watch the prior match. It's 12:25, okay, which means I can't stay too long here. So there is men's volleyball tonight. According to the University of Hawaii official website for athletics, hawaiiathletics.com, men's volleyball is on. Lewis match rescheduled for Sunday. UCLA, I think they had a game, and they were, it was the Friday game that got canceled. And they went back to California. Lewis wants to play Hawaii, so they were asking to stay and have a rescheduled game to make up for the Friday night one that they didn't play against UH. So that's been rescheduled for Sunday. Heads up, go to the website. It's probably on our website too. Go to hawaiinewsnow.com. Okay, there you go, UH News. Back to what I was talking about. I know. I need to get over towards the comments because we were talking with all of the Facebook comments. I need to get over to YouTube. Are we on YouTube? I know we are. I just haven't brought it up. So can I do that? I know I can. I just have to get it. There we go. Okay. There's the live. I have to make sure that I turn off the sound so it doesn't feed back. And I'll wait for all the wow comments. Hi. I heard Puk Soup open for Upcountry Maui restaurant. 28 hours without power up here. Lots of flooding in home, trees down everywhere. Kula has been crazy. That's Joga Bonito football. Thank you very much. 5 inches in Hawaiian beaches, Puna since last night. Heavy wind and power out since midnight. ATM Makawao. There you go. Location. Power, slight wind and rain, not as bad as last night. Just some caution for you on Maui. Just a reminder, it comes in waves, yeah. So I'm hoping that it's going to be gradually better, but I know that moisture is focused over there on Hawaii Island and Maui. So just kind of a heads up there for you. I'll get us another look at the radar coming up in just a little bit. Let me get to recent comments here on both the platforms. Hello from Waco, Texas. We need rains here. Highway 11, milepost 19. We've got at least 6 big trees blown over, still raining and gusting winds. Power off and on since last night. That's going to be Hawaii Island, Mokuokeawe. Kat Wilson, what's strange about the weather in Kona is all calm, not a leaf moving, then bam, heavy gusts of wind and pouring rain. Kona side isn't used to this much rain. You know what? So that means you have to be cautious as you're driving down not Palani Road, Queen Ka'ahumanu Highway. Before you get to Palani Road, there's that stretch of roadway there. Be careful because that always kind of floods over when there's the heavy rains. Just kind of a heads up there. South Kihei Road swamped. Heads up for the island of Maui. Once again, we had Richard Bisson, mayor, saying stay off the roads. Kipahulu catching cracks from wind right now east Maui. Okay. What I need to do right now is I need to get back over to, and I'm going to attempt to do this right now, I need to get back over to the weather computer. I have like about 12 windows open. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing what your conditions are like, and I'm hoping that as we go throughout the day today that the conditions for you improve. I want to bring up the weather elements here and see if we can just go ahead and give you kind of an overview on what's happening real quickly. If you are joining us from outside of Hawaii, we are having a strong Kona low. This is a storm system that is sweeping through the islands that's bringing strong, dangerous gusts. It's bringing heavy rains. It's causing flash flooding conditions. And so we are letting everybody know as we go through the broadcast here on what is happening. I am in Jennifer Robbins' settings and not my own, so that I will just go ahead and jump into her settings then. And there we go. All right. So let's go ahead and see if we can jump into this here. Let's bring you back to the camera. While we do that, I'm going to start with there's the low pressure system up to the north. You see where low pressure system, okay, see it's going in a counterclockwise motion. It is literally, low pressure systems, they suck energy. If it's a high pressure system, that's trade winds. That means that we get trade winds, windward and Mauka showers drifting leeward at times. This is the exact opposite. So it is pulling up deep tropical moisture and it's drawing it up into the islands. This is what we've got. Here we are at 12:30 on the broadcast, and we're going to take you in through the islands. We're getting near the end of our live stream here. So what we're going to do is we're going to run you through the islands, and then we're going to go ahead and give you forecast information. A lot of the concentration has been here, and take a look at the precipitation rate. 5.63 inches an hour are falling right now in areas of Haleakala, mostly on the southern slope. That's the southern and southeast facing slopes as you travel there on that mountain. Kihei, which has already gotten flooded conditions, they are starting to get some rain, and some showers are coming up as you go Ma'alea all the way down towards Lahaina and Ka'anapali. Let's go ahead and get you over to Hawaii Island. You're starting to see some lightning, some thunder showers that are happening just off of Hilo. You've got a lot of energy right now and heavy downpours over in the volcano area. And so kind of heads up, and that is continuing to bring onshore some really rough conditions. Let's go ahead and continue to see what Jen Robbins has here. As we do that, once again, thank you for watching here on your streaming apps and also on YouTube and Facebook for Hawaii News Now. You can see the rain rates that we have there. And once again, all this tropical, deep tropical moisture being pulled into the islands. Okay, let's go to Oahu right now. There is a string of showers that are coming up, and it looks like, as you can see, there is a lot downslope. It's not just one big one. It's, you know, you'll get some strong downpours, and then you get a little bit of a break, then more downpours. Right now, looking like that stretch from Pearl Harbor That's going to be Pearl Harbor, just on the edge of Eva Beach. As you go through Pearl City, Aiea, into the Likelike Highway. So that's going to mean the Kalihi area, and that edge is right there by Kapalama. It's reaching all the way to Ahuimanu, Waikane, upslope. So that's dangerous too, because that means continued showers or continued water flowing down towards Waihole, Waikane, which traditionally floods. I want to go over to the island of Kauai because we haven't touched on them in a while, but once again, it's getting increasingly better. We don't have the whole Kauai radar there, but you can see that we are seeing some decreased cloud cover. We're hoping that continues to progress in that direction. So there you go, as we go through the islands and give you the latest. Here is what we are looking at for you still yet for conditions. Just a reminder for you that we've been telling you rain coming in waves, heaviest shifting to the east, pulling up that river of deep tropical moisture. It's going to bring flooding, heavy rains, damaging southerly winds, stormy seas, and we've got winter warnings, which means, it's going to be some nice, cool, cold temperatures over on Moku Keawe. All right, I'm going to do one last check of our comments, and then we will leave you with the streamcast. And our next newscaster coming up at 5 p.m. Ben Gutierrez will be here, and he will have the complete latest for you with all the things that are going on. One last check of the comments. I'm going to take the last 5 comments here on YouTube. Got my meats and dairies in a cooler right now. Going to head down to get more ice. Doesn't expect Hawaiian Electric to get up by 7 p.m. Joga Bonito football. Okay. Always crazy Hawaii says Kona Town, wind slowed down, but not for long. Electric out again. North Kohala, Angel Boo. Thank you very much. And Lika 808 is going to go grab dry ice. Okay. Mahalo for those comments. We'll go one more time over. Did I close out the Facebook ones? Really? Okay, let me see if I can bring them back up real quickly. Thank you for being here on the live stream. Now, once again, we do this. We don't usually do this, but we want to do this to make sure that you have the latest information in between the newscasts. We give you some of these, and we have hour-to-hour updates on our website at hawaiinewsnow.com. Coming up tonight, story about a tree that has come down and took out 3 cars, but it missed the house. And the residents are very glad that the house wasn't affected. And they says, we're blessed, the cars, but we're all okay. So that's coming up in the news this evening. What do I need to do? Oh, I need to go to hawaiinewsnow.com. Hawaii News Now on Facebook. There it is. Okay. Last check of the Facebook comments, and we will close this out for now. There we go. And let me get into that one. Last 5 comments. Rose Kikoa, Captain Cook area, still windy. Be safe, everyone. East side Hawaii Island, east side Hawaii winds is picking up. That's from Chris Topher. Mahalo so much. For your report. Be safe out there. Maryland Nacimiento. Sorry. Manny Salvador, UH volleyball on? Yes. And I'll see you there. Okay. And I think that will do it. I have different things that are making noise here in the studio. Okay, final comments from me. Continue to check in with your kupuna and your family members. Even if you do the phone call and just say, are you guys okay? It means a lot. Make sure that you're staying safe and stay tuned to updates here at Hawaii News Now as we are continuing. Our whole entire team spreading themselves, coming in on their days off like Jen Robbins, to bring you that information and to really study this storm system to see the unique things about this so we remember what happened here. So when the next one comes, we have something to compare it to and we can give you all of that information because we're already experienced with it. And I think that's it. if you happen to be there at the Banco Arena at Stan Sheriff Center, I'll see you at men's volleyball tonight. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Drew Davis is going to come in, and I think it's Drew that's Davis is coming in, and then I will be reporting out just like I was this morning. And always, if there are stories that you see, video, pictures that you want us to share, or you just want to share with our newsroom so that we know, you literally are our eyes, ears, and hands. So continue to keep us updated, and you can do that always, either by email or at going to hawaiinewsnow.com. Okay, that does it for me. Ma'alamo pono, aloha a hui ho. Have a wonderful day. Be safe. Maka'ala. Aloha.